so you're talking about both?
Yes.
When are you proposing to submit the health department?
After we get a preliminary site plan approval.
Your current place has a spray booth already,
That's correct, yes.
and that has, I guess it's not on this plan, but
Yes.
ventilation, EPA stuff on that?
It's already licensed by the EPA. It's going to be relocated from the existing building.
Thanks. And obviously you'll have that, right? That documentation before the
Yes,
final?
we have that.
Okay.
We need some variances, as I pointed out. One variance we need is a lot area variance that is according to the industrial zoning code. We need 20,000 square feet, we have 17,032. It's a 14% decrease we're looking for a variance on. Because we're putting the building at the front of the site, as the downtown neighborhood zoning requires, we need variances to allow that. The industrial code does not take into consideration if there's an industrial site within the village. So it would have to be set back, I think it's 40 feet off the property lines, off the street lines, when we, and then I forget what all the rest of them are, but basically it's front yard setbacks we are going to do, because the village, when we appeared before the village board, they wanted us to keep it in keeping with the rest of the future buildings in the village. So that's why we need to go for the variance, to be able to bring the building up to the front of the site and be adjacent to the two street frontages. That application has been made. We're waiting for a hearing on that.
You feel a building of this size, how many square feet
75
is
by
it?
40.
40, how many square feet is the building with the spray booth? How many square feet?
Total building is 3,644 square feet.
The 40-foot depth you feel is necessary?
Yes.
The site coverage is 21.4% of the building. We're allowed 30%, I believe, in the industrial zone.
You got 4 bays in the back, four overhead doors,
Yes.
and a spray booth, evidently has 1.
Yeah, just getting back to the parking spots again, and looking at least a bay and a half are kind of in conflict with those first 2 parking spaces there,
Okay.
you know?
The exterior of the building is what interior?
Showing board and batten.
The front
Okay.
of the building, the front and the side facing the side street
Mhm.
is going to be, the bottom 4 feet is going to be a brick veneer.
Okay.
The top of that is going to be a board and batten siding, similar to a hardy board siding.
Okay.
The front entry will be some sort of a brick and wood shingle. They will have shingled roofs on the reverse gables,
Mhm.
on the 2 little dormers. The dormers are really phony, but they're to dress up the front of the building.
Okay. And the roof you said was standing seam.
The roof is a metal roof, is a silver metal roof,
Mhm.
which is similar to a turn roof, what they used to use in the old times.
And the shielding of the lights, they're very nice lights, coach lights, they would be more or less directed down.
They're going to be something that blends with the street lighting we have now.
And what about the parking area, is that gonna have lighting?
That's going to have, there's 2 wall lights there, which are shielded dark skies
So you're gonna
those
have
lights.
You're gonna have lights on the back of the building pointing into
Into the yard, yes.
the yard. And they would be on all night, I would imagine.
Bobby, you leave your lights on all night?
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, because that might be a neighbor concern.
It could, well, they're shielded so that they don't go off the property, that's code, so,
The lighting code is very, very specific.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've read, there's about 10 pages of that. If it complies with the lighting zone, that's extremely specific on the bulbs and everything that needs to be used.
Any other questions?
I guess one of the other last things is the existing conditions of the surrounding sidewalk and curb where this is proposed. That's something we just have a little disadvantage of not having
that's
photos
all,
so we can look at.
that's all part of the new sidewalk that was put in 6 or 8
Pretty
years ago, I
recent.
forget when it was.
Yeah.
They have landscaping pits, with trees in them. There's street lights on the front. They show, they don't show, well, the 2 tree pits are existing. These tree pits that show are existing tree pits. Right, there is a light,
There's 3 of them.
2 on the side street, 3 on the side street, and 2 on
Gotcha.
on Neighborhood Road.
Guess we'll
They're
have to take a-
existing.
We'll have to take a look at the condition.
It's only
Sidewalk.
improved, they're in good, very good condition,
Even down Woodside?
even down Woodside,
Reasonable
yes,
shape?
yes.
Excuse me a second. I don't want to cut anybody short, but the mayor needs to leave.
Okay.
And he's down here
Sorry,
to
Billy.
swear us in, so, sorry, Bill.
Okay.
Holding you up. No, you don't
Okay.
have to- you don't have to get up, but we just need to take a 5-minute break so he can swear us in, and then we can get right back to you, okay?
Where in
Oh, yeah.
Look at my
Hey, raise your right hand.
Oh, shit. It wasn't,
Repeat after me. I state your name.
Aye, Thomas Gross.
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties as
and faithfully discharge the duties as
planning board members of the Village of Mastic Beach.
planning board members of the Village of Mastic
To the
Beach.
best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
I have to go. I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We got time, we said 5 minutes, we only used 1.5, so.
oh, my God. So you can see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a cue for because they're shaking.
Bill, sorry we held you up. I lost track of.
I just,
I do it many
just like I'm
times.
telling you.
I know.
You're gonna have to let me back in, unless you're sitting at the table.
We don't leave you out there.
I said down. What? Not twice, do two.
You only get to.
I know, is there a secret?
You're out, you're out.
It's the only place you're gonna see it. Wow. They don't want us, they don't want us to see it. Yeah. These guys.
That's a good point. I'll pick up on that on the floor line right away.
So that,
I think that's the plan for the new building.
okay, yeah, they do it in Brookhaven, so it's similar
I think
thing.
we're gonna do this. Well, I think we have.
Yeah.
Oh, you got one there.
We're good.
I wonder,
You know, instead of waiting for it.
a message, when you leave a message,
Nope. It's all right in the back.
Okay.
No, I know. You don't have any side elevations, right?
No.
last week, I gotta listen to those guys.
I have them, but I just don't read them.
Yeah, it wasn't that obvious on here.
I don't, you know what?
My only
I don't think
question
like being
regarding-
face, I think he's a big lion, and that's and it goes
Yeah,
nowhere.
it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
I just asked Chuck if he had any side elevations, which he does not. Are there windows or anything, what's on the, let's say the west elevation?
West elevation is blank except for one overhead door.
Yeah.
There's an overhead door.
There's an overhead door here.
Okay.
I'm here.
It's right next door to my office, I work for DOT. State, my
Now, what is
office
the
right next
thinking
door.
on that overhead door now?
All things.
Having the same issue as your last building where it's in the back straight of traffic with only the.
Well, this one
section.
is a little bit further off the road. That one, those doors go right across the side.
Yeah, but with a 6-foot fence.
Bobby, do you need that door on the side?
There's only 4 feet of space to back out into traffic.
We don't need that. We can eliminate that.
Yeah, I just see that being a big problem for you. You have so many doors on the back, why would you need that side?
It's more or less like a car blocked in from
Wow.
something else in there to be able to get it out in an emergency.
Yeah,
It's not meant to be an active door.
you just see that being a little bit of an issue.
Yeah. It's not, but it can be eliminated. It was,
Is this your copy of the survey or can we keep it?
well, you've got yeah, you can take that survey, sure. We have recent surveys that were done for
You
the
signed the
project.
permit you gave.
I guess I didn't bring them with me.
And the district section parking lot is,
If you,
Is there an address?
there's an address, but not a
Okay.
district section lot.
And the address is on it, okay. You can check with the village, it's a
This
valid,
would be the new
It's a
address,
valid
402.
that's correct. The property address that we're discussing is 402.
402. These would- Those are the only copies of those. And this is my copy of this. Yes.
Just right, one piece with the rest of the building?
Yes.
So just the internals are getting moved? Is that moving from the other building?
Yeah, this is a structure that belongs to the building that the spray booth goes inside of. The existing spray booth has a roof over it and walls, but we're gonna take that out and put it in. So it'll be closed.
does anybody have any other questions for? The only thing I'm
That's
gonna,
grass right there?
Yes, it is.
the only thing I'm gonna ask is that you get the surveys to the clerk's office as soon as
Okay.
possible,
Okay.
and then, so we can get a copy of them,
Okay.
all right? So we can,
You have copies of surveys?
Yeah, I do.
You wanna get them over to
Mhm.
us? Sure. Thanks.
you don't have to do it tonight, I mean, I expect you to go out and come back. You can just get them to clerk's office. All right, so if there's no other questions,
That's it.
oh,
No, that's it.
you good?
You good?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Does everybody have a set? You don't have a set. I'll be sure to give you one.
I'm not too worried about Tom, because when we do a site visit, I'll be doing one of these, somebody will have a site.
Oh, you want to close your house with, you know, it's all right, well, you get this one,
Doing less, not too, but,
this is yours.
Oh, you can keep all those copies. I got lots of them.
All right, and then next thing I'd like to spend a little time on is discussing,
Let's talk to Timmy.
I know you guys had an opportunity to visit the site in the daytime,
You're gonna get all the money.
review plans. Did you, any new concerns come up during the visit?
Well, I think the one good thing, Kelly particularly brought up, I mean, we all, I think, are concerned about that house.
Well, that's
Sorry.
And what the,
One second. There's representatives here for games? Or,
no, there's nobody here for games.
just so no one's not excluded in that discussion, that's all.
No, this is a discussion just for us. And I had expected, we do have, yes, Tim is here, but I was expecting the attorney here, because I did want to ask specific questions regarding, regarding any, yes, regarding any.
No, that was,
covenant
Billy gave that to me.
Oh, okay.
Type of language that we're gonna require.
Oh, can we get
Right,
them about this as well?
Excuse me?
We want the same for this property.
Yeah, one,
Oh.
yes.
Restrictions that'll stay with the plan forever in the
Yeah.
site. Right.
Yeah, definitely restrict them out of gas stations.
See, but I think you're on the right track though. What do we call it, covenant, or what was the term you used?
restrictions.
Restrictions.
Yeah.
The house that Ernie just brought up, that's the pre-existing structure is gonna be a
Right.
problem. But he has, I mean, I think these guys had some good ideas, but every place we turn in the village is gonna have older existing.
Existing non-conforming
Yeah.
uses that
Right.
may turn into these newly
Right.
zoned
Right.
parcels like industrial.
But like your thought, is give them 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, which gives the person who's living in that house more than enough time to resolve and replace it reverts, becomes part of the structure. So the end is zoned now industrial, you got this non-conforming house that's 4 feet away and presents a fire hazard and everything else to this new building.
Well, I certainly don't want to put anybody out on the street,
No.
but, you know, 10 years I think is very generous.
I mean, that does much, because in 10 years, you'll never be able to get there.
Yeah, you know,
10 more years of that use, it's not like that day's gonna come and it's gonna go down.
Yeah, but
It'll be there forever.
Look, I mean, it depends on how much you want to stay specific to that, to Gabe's.
Right.
Because on the broader sense, we ought to look for a way to resolve this over a period of time, so that it's in favor of the village.
I hate to say the only way to resolve it is when people come in for new site plans, is just not to approve anything unless they come into conformity.
well, before we,
Because to say you'll push it off, the way the laws are, you'll never ever be able to get rid of it. 10 years from now, come and say, oh, look, we had this on the deed.
You may be right.
It doesn't matter.
If that's really what we all think, then,
Well, Ernie will tell you, he's done it all the time. The only way the town to raise power is when somebody needs something from it.
but it seems pretty ugly to just tell whoever's living in that house, you can poop.
yeah,
We got Gabe by the neck right now, so now you have to leave.
No,
Is that really what we want to do?
No, I'm not saying that's the right choice, I'm saying it's really the only choice government ever has to force people
I mean,
into compliance.
there's only two choices. The thought, the thought I had, rather than, a covenant, put a restriction on the site plan that eventually you sign. And, is that after,
you sign.
after 10 years, that the building is to be demolished. That's one. That ends the whole situation, other than coming down here, we're gonna fix it up, it's always gonna be, and then if she leaves, who else is gonna be in there?
Well, so.
What it turns into.
Yeah,
Well, something else we were
And
discussing,
you could even put it as long as the existing.
the
tenant,
existing tenant.
beyond our review, beyond the village review, once health department gets this and sees
Yeah,
his
it's
existing
gonna be
residents
a
with the
problem.
sanitary, he's showing new sanitary out front for the new commercial building. But health department will say, because it's 3 parcels being put together, you've got to upgrade it to new commercial standards. So then what?
They might not get that approval anyways, right? He already there, he buys them the parcels, and there,
We were
It'd be a whole
talking
nother-
about it,
Well,
to have some kind of
but in
accommodation to
our
the owner.
zoning, it was written that we really shouldn't be deliberating this until they get the okay. That was Ernie's adding to the zoning was, we don't even go that far until the one says they can approve it. They're trying to save
here's
money
one
and
of the
time for the
They'll
village.
approve it the way it is.
Here's
They won't
one
just
of the-
allow that building to stay there with existing sanitary, that they really don't know exactly what's back there in the first place.
Yeah, it's kind of why it was
They're not
written
gonna,
this
look-
way.
they're not
They-
gonna
they-
leave it in the back. Health department is not gonna leave it in the back, end of story.
So we shouldn't be arguing about it. Anyway, health department might say the house is coming down.
Well, not necessarily coming down,
No,
but
they
it may
wouldn't-
become incorporated into the
Into the
entirety of the
second
whole
one, yeah.
building, may be connected, and sanitary goes into new sanitary.
But that's why it might be cheaper for him just to eliminate it.
Right.
That's
See-
why when we wrote this, we made it that the other approvals came first, so we didn't waste time
I'm a little confused.
doing things that are gonna be undone by other entities. We figured the village should be the last stop, not the first.
But he's only got two problems to resolve, as we know, as we can sort of identify it now, is this one with this sanitation, and the other one's the fire. You know, and the building's only 4 feet apart, it's an old wooden structure. I'm surprised he even wants it so close to his new structure, because it's such a, you know.
I don't think he wants it at all, except he needs it.
What do you think
He needs the rent income.
And, you know, I looked into, I thought about that again. Somebody else's finances, I actually care less about. But my thought on that was, he said, I get $975 a month, I think it was, or $950 a month, whatever. Okay, then you have taxes that you have to pay, you have insurance you have to pay. When you pop those two numbers out, what are you really ending up with as far as revenue to run this new situation? Now, I looked at
Zone
also
industrial, though, that's the whole
the,
fight. I'm trying to.
the application,
Mhm.
and I see deficiencies in here. He's only got 2 of the lots in here,
Right.
not calling that one, which has to be in here.
No, it-
Because
what does the application say?
Because he doesn't even own it.
Is it-
Technically, he shouldn't be
It's
applying
31.
first. So I'm planning approval on a piece of property he doesn't own. The owner should be there first.
And then there's
I
a
know people are
signature,
pushing this through, but
there's a signature down the bottom, and we don't
technically,
even
don't
know
do
who
it
it
that
is.
yeah.
Look at the signature.
I'm pretty sure only the owner can apply for these things. We
Yes.
have a non-owner applying for them, hoping to get approval so he can take out a loan. I mean, it's really kind of a roundabout way of doing the site plan already.
Well, why do it that way?
Because he doesn't want to buy a piece of property,
He
he
doesn't
doesn't
want
want
to buy a piece of
approval.
property, he's not gonna be able to build on
You
it.
can do things as a contract vendee if there is a contract. You know, you can make application as a contract vendee.
Mhm.
But again, I see deficiencies in this. Lot 33 isn't. The square footage is wrong. Who is this person down here? We don't even know. This should be the owner, but we don't even know who the owner is. So,
The owner of the property.
yeah, that's.
The owner of the property
that-
right now is the Farris.
Well,
Or there's
Then his
also
name,
a,
his name should be, if that's his signature, if
Mhm.
that's his signature, his name should be printed or typed underneath it.
Even if there's
So you
an
know-
applicant, there has to be an owner.
Yeah, the owner has to be authorized.
And should we be
All
granting
this should
somebody
be going
permission
on.
to do something if we don't even know the owner knows? I mean, technically, we
I
supposedly
mean,
know
there's
the owner knows,
deficiencies,
but
there's
the owner wasn't
deficiencies, you
here.
know,
Right.
to a
Owner's gotta
degree.
be on applications.
Or, like he said, a contract,
The
the
post,
owner giving him permission to do all this for his property.
That gets us right back where you said in the email, we need Chris here.
yeah, I really needed a little guidance on this one.
yeah. Even the posting, they still put the sign by the back door of the hall. It's supposed to be up by the road in dark letters that people can read. When I saw it the first time, I had no idea what it even was.
Mhm.
So how they're posting stuff like that, I don't know. But it should be properly posted. The notices, the mayor isn't here, but they were supposed to approve 200 feet. Save the people a few bucks.
Well, I don't think they did that.
I know they didn't. They said they were gonna that night,
Okay,
and
so-
they didn't.
No, it's gonna be a public hearing in February,
They have to change the law.
But now, until
Yeah.
then,
So-
he needs
Yeah,
to
no, no.
nail that full
They can
distance.
do
Oh, yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And
And
that's
then we need
what
to
I
see
had
the,
recommended
It's
that they
unfortunate,
change.
but that's.
it is, but we
Yeah.
need to see those
But it's not-
returns.
Which I
It's out of our hands.
originally
Yeah,
had
It's
said.
not,
And.
but we need to know that it actually was done right.
I don't know how it
We
went
can
with
prove
this.
it if it wasn't noticed.
so before we, I think we're putting the cart in front of the horse here. Do you have any issues with the building itself, the way it sits? with the plan that was submitted, I mean, obviously, we all have some concerns with the adjoining property and the existing residence.
The things that I saw on the new plan, which we got a copy of.
The grassed area, the
Grassed
curbs, the
area.
paved parking lot instead of
The
dirt.
grassed area is not stone anymore, fine, but it should be separated with a decorative fence. Because if you're gonna leave that sucker wide open, the boat's gonna come first, then the friend's truck is gonna come, you know, no outside storage, you know, but without a little decorative fence there, that's what's gonna happen to that back area. Because my feeling,
I don't want to assume that. I mean, if they're
No.
going through the expense of landscaping and planting seed or whatever,
As long as it's curbs.
I'm going to
really
give him the
supposed to be.
benefit of the doubt that he's not going to park.
yeah, well, a decorative fence would be pretty, I guess, the least expensive. A split rail fence would be the least expensive, but something separating, because unknown person comes back there, they don't know where to drive, and they're gonna be driving all over that.
You know, I did all that over, Tom. The other one that you brought up is, there's no, these architectural drawings don't have the engineering dynamics on it. So there's no chimney reflector,
Right.
there's no HVAC.
Hold on just one second. Tim, if we can get you in on
Yeah,
this
Tim,
one.
I'm
There's-
sorry, I didn't realize you came back in. Would
There's
you
a-
mind
Oh,
stepping over, please?
Sorry. There's a point of where we're doing a review on site plan related issues.
Mhm.
And of course, certain other plans are slipped in, so we understand what the building elevations look like. But we noticed on some of the other architectural plans that certain code compliant things were not addressed properly or were just left off entirely. So there's a point where that, I guess, should go into building department's hands for final review so that. the
Well, if I notice
architectural
it's a
plan-
site plan, so we're not looking for code compliance, I don't think you guys can look for code compliance either, you gotta wait until that comes to us.
No, here's the perspective.
Right, there were things we saw while doing site plan review and looking at the building, that there were no,
Which would be
Chimneys.
elevation concern.
Right,
Chimneys
they had
or-
provided a full set of drawings.
right, not
So-
addressing ventilation at all. No mechanical code for ventilation of a service area. There's none whatsoever within the building or on the
Yeah,
plan.
but I don't know if that would be something that you would be in
Here's,
That's what we're trying to
Well,
say.
it wouldn't.
your review anyway, that would be coming to me to get approval
The
for
chimney-
planning.
Unless it sticks out
Chimney.
higher than the roof or off the side of the building, because of
Yes.
ventilation there, then it won't be in compliance with the plan.
see, one of the things that we have to
Because-
wrestle with is the aesthetics, and the considerations of the neighbors. So when
Okay.
you look at that, when you look at the drawing, it's got that flat roof. So the question that Tony asked him is, now if you put, when you do the air exchange, and you put this thing up on the roof, you know, now can you
Vent
see?
stacks, exhaust
can you see
inside.
Well,
from
what
the
is he, what is he putting? What I heard from his engineers is they're just putting a waste hole heater in there.
Right,
Yeah,
just
and
showing
that
it
was
as
the
a
thing,
square
that's where the
box.
chimney would be, which would be you know, a
Aesthetic
building,
item.
you know, concern also, but again, the elevation thing, now we have a chimney there that's gonna be spewing out, you know, smoke, you know, then neighbors may have some concern about that, and there's no chimney shown.
Or
Well,
no-
where's it coming out? Is it coming out of a flat roof with a
Yeah,
parapet?
we
with
don't
a-
know that, yeah, and oil
It's not a
storage.
It's gotta be
assuming
2
that's gonna
feet
burn
above,
from something.
2 feet above the roof.
Yeah, so if the parapet's 4 foot, you wouldn't see it.
There's no parapet on this at all. It's actually 19 foot on the front facing the west, and it shows 19 foot on the back,
18.6.
but it's really intended to be 18.6. They really don't show a gutter line. So those are like building elements that we noticed that we think should probably be in your world of things.
Yeah, I would wait
Not
until you
ours.
guys gave me a, you know, an approval of the site plan.
See, that's just it, in a hypothetical, we're just trying to wrestle with where do we begin and you leave off, or you begin and we leave off, and so we get these drawings, and we think we got it all. If it wasn't for Tony saying, well, there's actually a few more things here that probably Tim would have to tell us he's good with, and
Well, the thing is, I mean, you gotta go by what is written by the code. I didn't write the planning code, so whatever the architect reads in that planning code, he's gonna give you. He's not gonna give you more or extra unless you ask for it. And I don't think in the code it requires any of that stuff.
so even if the chimney, because, you know, the building, when he puts it in, we have no idea where he's gonna put the power plant in, but there are houses back there. So if that chimney's back there, he's burning that waste oil or whatever he's got there, you don't think, and I'm just asking this as a hypothetical, I think we should be wrestling with that from the planning board perspective, is where that chimney's
Well,
gonna
I
be.
mean, under the state code, there's so many feet off of a neighbor building and stuff like that. If he meets that under my code, when I do a plan review,
Right.
I gotta give him. So-
Correct. If he meets the minimums of New York State
Building
building,
code.
mechanical, fire, all that.
Just out of curiosity, Tim, what is your feeling about the house 4 feet away from the building? On an industrial site?
It's above, it's 4 feet off the building now.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It's he's going
But
with
it
a
was,
cement.
that
This
was,
isn't it,
that
Well,
was residential.
In fairness to Tim, I think that's unfair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at,
We're putting him,
I was looking at it from
On
a
the
code
spot.
compliance.
I mean, if he puts a,
It's
if he
biased a
builds,
bit,
you know, if he builds cement CMU on the outside and this building's a 2-hour rated, I don't have a problem with it. I mean,
Right, there's ways to.
I can only look at codes,
Code
compliance.
compliance.
I
Yeah,
can't give
right.
him my opinion if
He has
the house
to make
is.
it comply with
exactly,
very.
if he doesn't, he can't offer his opinion as to whether or not he
It's
likes it
strictly
or
a code
not.
review.
You know, as long as it's code compliant, you know, you have to.
But let's do the issue that we were talking about earlier about the sanitation system. It's, that building currently has a cesspool, I guess, behind it. There's no access to it unless you were to drive behind the new building. So imagine the new building now, you'd have to drive around behind it, come up behind that house. Tony, you were saying that that probably isn't gonna fly with the health department.
They're
So,
not gonna let it happen.
do you get a voice in on any of that before we wrestle with it?
What, with health department?
Well,
I mean, I can make recommendations to the health department, if they go by it, they go by it, if they don't.
No, that's straightforward, that's not even a subject of conversation.
There's no municipality out there now that's gonna improve an industrial site with a residence on it and give them a new site plan. I mean, we're juggling around with the health department, I mean, that's such a red flag. You're not gonna see
But-
that really happening
But Tim
anymore.
cannot issue a building permit,
Until.
you know, until health department, he would have to have health department.
Tim, did they apply for any area variances? I mean, because now it does not conform to the new industrial code.
Well, area variance meaning for,
Front yard and side yard setbacks.
well, the front yard is gonna be the original. There's nothing being touched to the front yard.
Right.
And everything after that, it's all 3 pieces of property that he brought together, so there's really
Yeah, but
nothing.
the issue is when they change the zoning on the
When they change
property,
the zoning of the
it has a
property.
difference, so you lost